I wanted to do a follow up to my last draft tutorial video. There was a question in the comments about how to draft in the later rounds and what to look for when basically every player looks like they suck. Because my last draft video, I just did the first few rounds to kind of show how I evaluate players, but it's definitely different in the later rounds when you're just trying to figure out who the guys are that you should pick that are all generally look like they are never going to amount to anything. So I just randomly went to 2021 here with a Brewers team just to do a sample draft. Pick the Brewers, of course, because of their superior logo, which I didn't know until a few years ago. I never noticed this, but the baseball glove is an M and a B. And once I realized that, I can't remember where that was pointed out to me. Once I realized that, I was like, wow, this is one of the best logos in baseball. So anyways, I randomly chose the Brewers here, so I'm going to draft as them, and I'm actually not even going to draft. I'm just going to show how I go through the rounds. So here you can see I'm in round 33, and I'm going to go through some things that I search for when I'm looking for players in the late rounds, again, when it looks like everybody's just bad. The potential rating, I sort by that here. You've got a 30 and a 25, so certainly maybe those guys are worth looking at ahead of the 20s. But bottom line is, none of these guys are going to look great. And you might be able to develop one of them into a great player. So, certainly sometimes these players come out of nowhere. I've had like the guys in 30th round, 32nd round that just over time kind of slowly got better and better and became legitimate major league players. But it generally does not happen. Most of these guys are never going to even make their way into like your high minors. But some things to look for to try to find diamonds in the rough. The first thing I would do is check work ethic and intelligence, because these two traits, guys are more likely to reach or exceed and improve upon their ceiling. Guys who have good work ethic and intelligence. So that's one thing to look for. And certainly this guy has high intelligence and high work ethic. Jonathan John. He's 24 years old and really looks like nothing. I'm not sure I'd be looking at him as a pick just because of his work ethic intelligence, because he's so old. Like if he was 18 and he had that, might be a different story, because maybe he can take some time to improve upon himself. So, and then I'll also look by leadership sometimes, although not really. Having leadership is important at each level, but you can find it anywhere. You can sign guys or find random guys. But certainly if I'm looking and there's no one I really want to draft, maybe someone with high leadership and work ethic or intelligence, I might look at them. These are two relievers who look like they're nobodies, but maybe they can be good minor league filler on your minor league teams and be leaders and help the locker room. So that's one thing worth considering: work ethic, intelligence, and kind of below that, leadership. Another thing to look for is one standout tool. So I might go to batting potential and sort by the tool that I value the most. I think generally avoiding Ks is a good one tool thing to look for. And I'm on all pitchers here. Let me go to all players. So some of these guys we might be able to find. Let's see. Here's a guy with a good eye. I think this guy, pretty good eye, pretty good avoid Ks. Doesn't look like he's going to do much else, but he can play some infield. He's 22 though, so a lot of these guys, if you're hoping they're going to grow their skills, younger the better. So you could always go and sort by high school players here and look here. So here's a guy with a good eye, good avoid Ks, and so he's got time to possibly develop these other things. If he could get this contact up a little bit and these two things grow into their ceiling, the eye and the avoid Ks, he can play defensively. Might not be a bad value in the 33rd round. So that's one thing I look for, is just find a tool that you like and sort by it and see what you got. Power, not too much going on. You've got some of these guys that will sometimes be crossover guys or two-way players, and they're listed as pitchers, but they're actually they're way better as hitters. This guy isn't too exaggerated an example, but I honestly try to avoid those guys sometimes because I think I don't know that it's exactly on the up and up to draft a guy who's listed as a pitcher and he's got 30th round pitcher talent, but he's like a 5th round hitter talent. I try not to exploit that, but you will find that. Not as much in Out of the Park 21 as other years, but it still happens. So that's another thing. It's just sort by a standout hitter tool here with power or Ks or I, whatever you think is the best one. And then same thing with pitchers. Go to potential. Is there a guy with great control potential? And we're still in high school players. Again, I think when you're looking for guys to with limited ceilings, you're hoping they're going to grow that ceiling. Going for high school players is a better bet. Like this guy doesn't look terrible if he can improve some of these. Some if he reaches this ceiling, he's good value for a 30 something round pick, even if he never makes the majors and he's just decent minor league filler for you. And then he could always he's only 18, so he could always get better at some of these things. And then stuff is obviously always a good thing to, especially if you're looking at relievers, a good thing to sort by. You could always go to all players and see, yeah, you got a couple of relievers here. Like this guy's a college reliever. He's 23 and a half. I mean, I don't know if this movement or control are going to grow enough, but he's got 3 decent pitches. He's got pretty good stuff. So again, just sort by one tool that you like and see what you can do and find. And so then I would recommend going to fielding. And I would recommend looking by infield range. And see, here we've got a guy with a 70 infield range still available because his bat is atrocious. And he's also listed as a catcher. And he's 22, so likely not, never even going to hit well enough to get out of rookie ball or low A ball maybe. But if he does, look, this is a guy who could win a gold glove in the major leagues, but he's just so miserably bad at the plate that he's going to need to improve to do it. But you can also sort by outfield range if you want to try to find yourself a guy who can play center field. Let's see what Tyler Collins' deal is. This guy could develop into he's already a decent fielder. And if he works on that, he's only 18, he could develop into a really good guy with the glove in your minor league system who's probably never going to hit well enough to do much, but he's at least got a tool that is like worth looking at, right? He's not just bad all across the board. He's actually got a pretty good bat or glove, sorry. And then you can also sort by catcher ability. Having good catchers is really important at every level, just because it helps your pitching staff so much to have good catchers. So just maybe you just want to stock up on good defensive catchers in the late rounds to help stabilize your pitching staff. So this guy's only 17 and he's very vocal in the clubhouse in a positive way. He's a real student of the game, so he's probably got high leadership and high intelligence, I would imagine. And you got some other guys here who could develop into good catchers. So that's another good thing. Again, they might not ever help you at the major league level, but not many guys at this point. The chance of hitting on a guy who's going to help you at the major league level is small. So if it might just help to stock up on things. But again, if you want to find guys, a diamond in the rough who might make the major league level, look at the the one standout tool or the work ethic, intelligence, etc. So those are just some tips for finding value in the late round, finding guys who might be valuable to your minor league system in the late round, etc. If there's other things that would be helpful to talk about the draft, just let me know in the comments and I can try to talk through how I do it. But hopefully that kind of added information on how I deal with the later rounds helps.